Stop chasing. What's going on, y'all? Look, we back. We back in the building. Look, as y'all come in, go ahead and let me know where you guys are chiming in from. Let me know what city you're chiming in from. We about to go in real quick. We got 3 really good, profitable setups that I think can make you a ton of money this week. The first thing I need you to do when you come in, though, you already know. Hit that like button. One time for me, all right? The more likes we get, the more people this gets out to, the more people that will be blessed. And you had something to do with that by just simply hitting the like button, all right? I'm gonna kick this off by showing you guys, a little bit of the profits that we made in the Prosperity Collective, because I'm not gonna lie. I continue to give you guys this game on a weekly basis. I've been out, we'll talk about that in a second, for the past week, but every day throughout the week, giving you guys profitable setups. It's time that you come and join the family. It's time that you come and join the Prosperity Collective so that you could get these types of profit. Matter of fact, let me just let the numbers talk. Okay, how about that? How about that? All right. How about we let the numbers talk? I want y'all to take a moment to just look at this real quick. Just look at this. Some of y'all probably out there right now, right? Barry Bezos in the building. We got Joy, Jungle Queen, Best Beezy with 40%, right? This is just a week in recap, 61%. Somebody won $1,000, 18%, right? 146%, Best Beezy, 30%. Come on, right? 61%, right? 30%. This is on a consistent basis, right? I wanted to pull this up, 102%. I wanted to pull this up because I want you guys to see what is possible for people just like you every single day. It goes on, 50%, right? Every single day, right? Every single day. All right, it's time to hit that link in the description, right? Don't let another week go by that you miss out on turning your money into double or tripling your money or gaining 20-30% on your money. You get 20% every day. That is 100% on your money. 406% by net on IWM, right? As you guys see, I'm still scrolling. As you guys see, I'm still scrolling, right? 120%, right? I'm still scrolling. This is just from the previous week. All right, I'm still scrolling. Right? $500, 18%, right? Somebody's been recovering their account right here, right? Going full transparency, right? Hold on, he says, what did he say? He said, I was up a month straight and then he lost. So he's talking about how, he made some decisions on his own and now he's recovering as a result of taking these plays, right? What we got right here? I mean, it's just so many, 30%, right? It just does 200%. Let's go back to that 200%. Look at that. Come on. 32%, 100%, every single day, all right? We're going to get off this for a second. I'm going to come back to y'all. Every day, y'all. Every day you got an opportunity to grow your money. Every day you have an opportunity to grow your account. If you've been in a situation where you were in a group and it left a bad taste in your mouth, I'm telling you that this is the antidote, right? This is the remedy. This is the environment that you need to be in to come and soothe yourself, regain your confidence, and get back to making money. All right? We a community of real people, right? Real ones. Them the only people that's attractive. We don't even have ads out. So if you find yourself on my page or Isaiah's page or in the group, right, it's because you were guided to that place. We have not put out any sort of, paid marketing, right? That's why the energy in there is so solid. So if this is something that you're seeing and you've been thinking about, should I join the group? Should I join a group? This might be your sign. All right. Let me see who we got in the chat real quick. I miss y'all, man. I miss y'all. P, what's going on, man? Toya, how you feeling? Alondra, how you doing? From Toledo. There we go. Okay. Life of J Bird. What up? Miss Fruit, how you feeling? I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of y'all, all the kind words. I even got the flowers y'all sent, right? I'm gonna post something about that in the Prosperity Collective, but I truly appreciate y'all. Delta Johnny, man, what's going on? Subsistence, how you feeling? Ash Cash, how you doing? QTZ. Appreciate it, QTZ. He said, I'm people, if you're saying, yeah, I'm telling you, talk to him, Toya. Adam, what up, man? Scorpion Queen, y'all in here today. Genesis, what's going on, brother? There we go. Hey, man, I definitely missed y'all, but listen, I'm trying to tell you something, all right? On this other side of things, we are going to go crazy, right? I've really just been, focused and working on some things that I think that you guys truly need, right? So what I've noticed is that there's a shift taking place, right? There's a shift taking place, and this is not something about scarcity, or I never want you to ever feel the anxiety of missing out on something, right? That's not ever the goal. But I do want you to understand that it's time to evolve, right? Mentally, spiritually, so that you can take advantage of these financial opportunities, right? You can't do one without the other, right? That joint remind me of the love and marriage theme song, right? You can't do can't have one without the other. So you have to make sure that you are shifting your mind, right? Shifting your spirit and aligning with where you are ultimately going, right? I just dropped the affirmation / meditation in the group today, right? I think that that's something that is really, if you just let it reverberate, right? Just let it echo in your mind and really just meditate on it each morning. You're going to merge with that person, right? The whole idea of me speaking to you in that tone, in that manner, is so that when you wake up and you're in your, most receiving form, right? You're able to download that information. All right. So as the days go on, that psychology is going to start taking root in your spirit, and you're instantly going to understand like how to maneuver in the market. It's going to make your conscience a little bit stronger and make it very difficult for you to take random plays. All right. So we're really about to transition, really focusing a lot more on the psychology and the emotional side of trading, which is what I think people truly need. All right. Elijah, what's going on? Darrell, what's going on, man? Appreciate it, brother. He said, best to say, yeah, listen, if y'all not with the collective, man, I'm telling you, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm just gonna be real, right? It's not even a sales pitch, it's a real pitch, right? I'm just telling you, right? Brittany, how you feeling? There we go. Hey, LaRue, how you feeling? Appreciate you. All right. So, man, this weekend was beautiful. Right? So, y'all know, my father passed. We sent him away in a way that was, it made me feel proud, right? I felt like, people really, messed with my dad. My dad did a lot of things. I heard stories about what he was doing, just in his spare time, right? Impacting people's lives in his spare time. So he's almost like a low-key superhero, saving. One girl told a story about how he prevented her from committing suicide, right? Things that he never spoke of, which showed the true character of who he was, right? He did so many things in his lifetime just quietly, never had a super big name in the world, but he was a great man, right? And great people are not always famous, right? Everybody famous is not always great, and everybody great is not always famous. And he was one of those great men that were not always famous. He had a pure heart, right? And he always had a way of, making you feel a little bit bigger. I think that's where my delusional confidence in myself comes from. Because when I was younger, it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I was doing, right? He always found a way to make sure that I believed in myself by hyping me up, right? By making me think that anything that I touched would turn to gold. Anything that I wanted to do, I could do it. Right? And, I navigate life with that confidence. There's nothing that I'm fearful of. There's nothing that, and it's not times that I'm not fearful, but it's nothing that I'm ever consumed by when it comes to fear. If I feel that emotion, I'm always reminded, of those words that he spoke and how he used to hype me up on the, on the field or, at home or in conversation, and always just make me feel bigger, smarter, and better than I was. All right. So for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it aligned with a lot of the things that everybody else was saying, right? There was a consistency in everybody's message, and I just felt really good. And I felt like he got sent off just in a really good way. We celebrated his life later. I got to connect with people whom I haven't seen in a very long time, so it was just love all around. And then, you know, you guys taking the time to, you know, to with your well wishes, all that stuff, everything was just perfect. All right, so I just wanted to share that with y'all. I appreciate y'all, and we're gonna jump into it. All right, let's get it. So I got three stocks for you guys, right? We got AMD, we have Amazon, and then we also have what was the other one? Google. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip to my charts, and we're gonna get into it, and then I'll take you know, requests from y'all, and we're gonna go like that. All right. Again, as you guys are piling in here, man, just hit that like button, right? One time for me, doot, and we good money. All right. Let's get it. All right. So we got Google. Google looks beautiful. All right. Now, I'm going to show you a little something about Google, right? So Google has been coming down for the past couple of weeks, right? It's been coming down for the last couple of weeks. It tried to recover here, right? We got a failed 2 down right here, which is typically a recovery signal, but it failed and continued down in the following week, right? It wasn't, when it came down here with this failed 2 down, it wasn't necessarily like at any sort of level. It did have this, well, I guess there's a level right here. It did have this, you know, this Keltner channel here, but it didn't come down to what I like to purchase at, which is order blocks, right? So we failed a little bit more, and we're down here at order block. Now, I do want to make sure that you guys understand that in the market, what I've seen is that there's starting to be like failed rallies, right? So a failed rally is a strong characteristic or a strong trait of like downward momentum, like, you know, a stock getting ready to fall or the market getting ready to fall at large. So I'm being cautious in all of my trades, all of my swings, and making sure that I'm anticipating the different patterns that are bearish that could be forming as a result of some sort of bullish movement in the short term. All right, so what I mean is that we're gonna see some bounces at certain areas that may turn into bear flags. They may turn into head and shoulders, and we may be continuing to the downside because these rallies, like these bounces, they keep failing. Like they're not lasting longer than a week, right? We need to see a consistent week after week movement to the upside to be sure that we're not still trying to push down. All right, now a lot of these stocks have you know, gaps and fair value gaps that need to fill to the downside. Even though I do believe that there will be some sort of upward rally, I think we're going to take out a lot of the downside first. So I'm just going to give you like the different scenarios in you know, each of the stocks. But for this particular one, Google, right? Easy target is right here at the top of this fair value gap, right? So about 319, 320 would be what I'm targeting to the upside based on what's forming right here, right? So we got a little bit of a hammer bouncing off the Bollinger Band, also at the order block, and there's just plenty of room right here, and we have this huge fair value gap that is about what, 20 bucks, maybe about 15 bucks wide. So there's a you know, a nice opportunity to catch this up into here. Obviously, the first target would be right at the fair value gap. That's typically where I place my first targets because that's where a decision is usually made, right? It has to get to the you know, the location, and then it has to go in the location, right? So you pull up to the venue, but you also got to walk in, right? So that's how a fair value gap is. You pull up to the venue, you might be like, who all in there? Who all there? Who all gonna be there? Right? You start looking at people and saying, you like, I don't really like it, and you leave. That's an example of it approaching a fair value gap and then rejecting. But if you see, you know, something you like walking in there, you might be like, okay, like it's time to go ahead and fill that. It's time to go ahead and go inside, right? So the fair value gap is the same way. It's always a decision, right, that's being made right at the edge of that, right at the beginning. So that would be my initial target. What I would like to see is just bullish confirmation on this one. All right, so if we can get a higher high and a higher low tomorrow, then that could take us, you know, up here, and I'd be very open to swinging that. I'm also going to be looking at it on like the 2-hour time frame, the 30-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame to see when the best opportunity to get in intraday is, because there will be plenty of opportunities intraday as well. You know, the moment that it takes out the previous day highs, right? So of course we're going to wait for the swing opportunity. We'll get in and out with the intraday trades, But in terms of swinging, my target, once we get that higher high, higher low confirmation close on the day, is going to be about 320. All right, so definitely write that level down. 320 is the target. Higher high, higher low confirmation tomorrow. And if we get that, we will go ahead and probably take that on live tomorrow. All right. So that's Google. Also, when it gets to this area here, that would still, again, remember how I said that, some of these are possible formations of bearish patterns. We could get a bear flag that forms here, right? So if it retraces to the fair value gap and we hit our target on that, after we get that bullish confirmation, we could take it right back down if it creates some sort of bear flag into this fair value gap, right? So if we see a reversal and a confirmation, like a bearish reversal and a confirmation at the fair value gap, then that lets us know, are we getting ready to break down out of this flag? And then, what do we do now? Now we take that back to this order book as the first target. It breaks below that, then we would reassess and see what that next target is, which would probably be somewhere down here right around 295. All right, so clean setup on this one. Not a whole lot of thought has to go in here. It's sitting at a optimal level. If it breaks below this, then we just keep a super tight stop loss, outside of that, right? This is liquidity, right? So this is where it's been, this is where it's coming and this is where it's bouncing off of. And this is where a lot of, institutions are getting in where a lot of people were getting in right here, right? So right here on the 5th is when a lot of people were entering calls on Google, and instead it came down and swept this liquidity right here, right? Came into this area and it's bouncing. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. It may come up and scoop a little bit more up in this area and then go up. But again, that's why we wait for the confirmation before we enter. So really clean setup. I like this one a lot. All right. Again, as y'all come in here, man, y'all go ahead and hit that like button for me. All right, Doot, one time for me. All right, I'm always gonna give y'all what y'all need. I'm always gonna give you the levels. I'm gonna give you the breakdown. I'm gonna give you some wisdom. I'm gonna give you everything that drops inside of me in the moment, right? All I need you to do is just hit the like button. All right, I think that's a pretty fair exchange. All right, now we're gonna go to Amazon. Amazon got a lot going on right now, right? So there is it's quite a few things that I'm looking at, right? We got fair value gaps in both directions, right? We got these fair value gaps over here, also just a regular gap, right? A jump from day to day, right in this area, starting at about 197.76, and then coming down to about 195. So it's a couple dollars, right? Not that that's such a big move, but it is letting us know like where decisions will be made. So what I'll be looking for in this is, in a downside or bearish scenario, I will be looking for a break of previous day, right? So we can break below this like 197.50, 60 area, right? I'd be interested in taking it into the gap fill right there, right? If that's not enough money for you, right? If that range is not wide enough for your liking, then the best scenario would just be waiting for a much bigger opportunity, which is to the upside. Look at these multiple fair value gaps. We got 5 fair value gaps in this sequence right here. Okay, so again, we're going to be cautious about the recovery on this if it is a bullish scenario, because we are in a time where we are seeing failures of recoveries, right? Failures of rallies. So if we come up to this fair value gap, just like I showed you on Google, or we come and even fill this fair value gap, that is still it still has the capability of forming a bear flag and rejecting in this area and then coming down even further. All right, so this week and next week is going to be a real test of where the market wants to go. All right, we got data coming out, manufacturing data, there's like trade balance numbers that are coming out, but the most important thing that we're waiting for is the notes from FOMC. All right, so when we get those meeting minutes, we'll have some better understanding of like where the market is. But inflation is definitely, like, from what has been coming out, kind of softening. But then there's also things going on like, drops in the semiconductor and AI space that we're seeing that is, that's also kind of giving like mixed signals. So we just want to be like diligent and patient and making sure that we're watching like these different levels. So let me just give you some concrete levels so that you guys can write it down and just understand. All right, so in a bullish scenario, we get a confirmation, higher high, higher low, which is maybe a close above about 202.50, right? We get a close above 202.50, then we can go and target this fair value gap right here up to about 206, right? Probably about $4, right? About $4 that we could get out of that play, which would be nice, maybe like 50% move on a weekly, right? And then that would put it at the retest of this Bollinger Band. That will be also a gap fill right here of this fair value gap. So we could be forming a bear flag right there. So that will be a time that you would want to just take profits off. Again, like we don't have to hold the whole way through when we got the play like just kind of like mapped out for us. We see the fair value gaps to the upside. We see the distance. We see how how oversold it is, right? So we just want to make sure that we are along the way taking profits and then reassessing, taking profits and then reassessing. So when we kick back up to here, again, this 206, 207 area, that could be like a shorter pullback on a bear flag formation, and there could be some more downward movement coming from there. If it does want to go up, then we can play it up to the next fair value gap at about 212, where we make another decision from there, because that could be, again, where a bear flag is forming. So we're going to play it from fair value gap to fair value gap in terms of the targets. And then once we get some sort of like reversal and confirmation, not just a reversal signal, but a reversal signal and a confirmation, meaning like it breaks out of the flag, or we get like a hammer and then a lower low confirmation, right? If we get that rejection off of this bear flag, then we could be coming down pretty significant. If not, then that means it wants to continue. And again, we just continue to play level to level, fair value gap to fair value gap in terms of our targets, and just watch for entries on lower time frames. All right. So that's Amazon. Again, plenty of opportunity. Just at first glance, you can just see that there's a lot of imbalance, right? This is not how a chart is supposed to look, a healthy chart. All right, so this has to get cleaned up. Again, if you guys don't have the fair value gap by Nephew Sam indicators on your chart, go ahead and add them. It's going to definitely turn your trading up, all right? Also, you got to have the order blocks, right? You got to have the order blocks. Critical. And again, the Bollinger Band and the Keltner channels. These three things are going to allow you to day trade like a pro. It's going to allow you to swing trade like a pro. And it's going to allow you to catch like a lot of these like long-term and medium-term setups. All right, so definitely throw that on the chart. All right, let me come back to y'all real quick before I go into our next one. How's that working out for y'all so far? Y'all with me? Y'all ready to get this money this week? Like, yeah, he was a great man. Yeah, no, he absolutely was. Assets Pack, man. Appreciate it, man. Nah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Appreciate you. Pixel, thank you so much. Angie, what's up? How you feeling? Oh, hey, Toya, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I gotta do that. I appreciate you staying on me. Big Sean, what's going on, man? Jamie, how you feeling? State King, how you doing, man? Appreciate it. There we go. Doot. You already know. All right, so look, y'all know, man, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I just be on here just yapping, right? I'm just a regular guy from PG County. You know what I'm saying? I be on here yapping, right? This is, for entertainment purposes only. All right? Anything that I say, it's just words. It's just, we just trying to, we just having fun over here. But if you do decide to enter a trade, right, and you were inspired by something that I said, don't be inspired by what I said. All right? You make sure that you go and do your own homework. You do your own due diligence, and you make sure that anything that you enter into, right, is because of your decision to enter into that. You using your brain, right? Not what Marcel Prophet said. All right? So that's it. That's it. I just want y'all to know that. You say you chilling good. There we go. Forever free. How you feeling? Yeah, man. Yeah, we back. Actually, I'm actually in LA right now, y'all. So I'm in LA. My week is about to be so beautiful, right? So after I get off with y'all, I'm actually going to the studio, right? I told you I was working on this little like project, this music project, right? So we're finalizing 3 songs, right? It's these 3 songs we just couldn't quite get it like where we wanted it to get it, and just after like letting it sit for months, I'm finally like, it's all like just kind of like dropping into me. I'm like, all right, I know exactly what I want to do with this. So I'm going to the studio, downtown. I'm downtown LA right now, so the studio's like literally like, a few blocks down. So I'm gonna do that. It's always a vibe with this particular producer, like real good energy. I know we're gonna be rapping, chopping it up about life. Then I got the show premiere, right? The show premiere, 60-Day Hustle, right? That's gonna be premiering on Amazon Prime on the 19th, but the premiere is on the 18th. So the red carpet is on the 18th. So I get to link up with the cast. Again, we're gonna actually be in like a little secret location. I'll probably do a couple of live streams from the house that we're gonna be staying in. But it's about to be a vibe this week, man. Like I'm just calling in like just new energy, new connections, and just beautiful experiences. And again, things that make sense to share, I'll share with y'all. But I'm always, when I'm in LA, I'm always just like this. I told y'all about the astrophotography thing. This is always just like a place that just gives me a ton of energy, a ton of clarity, and I always just feel super creative here. So yeah, use the quality. Yeah, Toya funny. There we go. Yeah, y'all definitely tune in. If y'all got Amazon Prime, season 2 of 60-Day Hustle, myself representing Benson Watch Company will be on there. It's I don't know exactly how they edited the joint yet. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm not sure how they edited it yet. But it should be interesting because it was a little bit of drama on and off set that was kind of floating around. So we'll see how they decided to edit it. I did definitely learn a valuable lesson in how a lot of these TV productions work, and it's like it is real. I will say that it's definitely real stuff, but it's curated, and there is an agenda that producers have, right? So they know the direction that they want to go in with particular stories. They know the combination of people that they want to have in terms of personalities and stories and stuff like that, to ultimately create like an overall like move for the show. So it was a very good experience. I think it'll be something that y'all like. So definitely check that out on February 19th, Amazon Prime. Yeah, I appreciate that, Jamila. Oh, you out here, Subsistence? What part of the city you stay in? Nah, for sure, Ash. What part of the city you in? All right, I'm gonna come back to y'all. Let's go knock out this last one, and then I'm gonna take some requests from y'all. All right. Yeah, it's gonna be a vibe, Jamila. It's gonna be a vibe. All right. All right. So last but not least, we got the good old AMD. Good old AMD. So AMD is it's a perfect example of what I was just saying about the market, having like upside and downside gaps. So y'all know I've been talking about this gap being filled for a little while, and we came in here, last week or a couple weeks ago, February 5th, we came into this gap, right? But then it reversed, and this is like I said, this is a beautiful example of what I was referring to. We came into here, which a lot of people would have taken as, oh, it's going to continue, right? But then the next day, it blew up that downside and created a reversal. However, it's still holding the structure. Like, look at this. You see the middle of this fair value gap, and also the mean. You see how it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times rejected off of this 221.48 level. Well, this is a bear flag. It formed a bear flag as a result. And that also just happens to be, like I said, the center of the fair value gap, right? So, people that were playing the fair value gap from this reversal, they ate, and that was their target, they got out, right? And then they probably were waiting for it to cross, and, break over the mean and then come and fill the rest of the fair value gap, right? That would have been target 2 or final target. So we did come and break out of this bear flag, right? We got the confirmation right here, but then this candle right here actually formed a reversal, right? So this is a failed 2D. We don't have any sort of confirmation. So again, we may see a failure of this reversal signal, and then it break down into here. So I'm anticipating that it will continue downward, even though this is saying that it wants to reverse, even if it does open up tomorrow, right? In some sort of, and it pumps for a little bit. Say it opens up like around like 208.50 or something like that, which is, not quite at previous day highs, but it's above the close of yesterday or previous day. It could go as high as, 216, right? It could come all the way up here tomorrow, and a lot of people may think that that means that it's bullish. And I want y'all to understand that as long as it's under this, where this level right here where it's formed the bear flag, that bear flag is still in play. So as long as it's staying under 221.48, that downside is still very, very much in play to come and get this fill. Now, if we do, push down tomorrow, there's also two things that can happen, right? We could form what would be a double bottom right here at that, write these levels down, y'all. At the 190.97 level, we could form a double bottom, and then that could be where we finally get the legs to jump all the way up into this fair value gap and fill it up here, right? So I would watch for a double bottom formation, some sort of reversal or bounce at this level of 190.97 or 191 if you want to round, right? And then I would wait for a confirmation, and that would absolutely be the thing that takes us up into this fair value. All right. The next scenario is if it breaks below the 190.97 or 191, whatever you want to call it, then it absolutely is taking the form of the bear flag and that momentum. So since we already have tested, the inside of this gap, that would be where we actually get a continuation. So once we break through the 190.97, that's going to let you know that this gap is ready to really get filled. Right. That's going to let you know that the gap is ready to get filled. All right. So, man, like this is like a hell of a play. Like I said, to the downside. Again, if we can close below the 190.97, it looks really good to come and fill this fair value gap, right? We're already we've already filled a little bit of it up here, and we've already started a little bit of the regular gap down here, right? So again, once we pass that 190.97, I'm looking for entries on the lower time frames, right? I'm not waiting until the market closes. I'm looking for entries on like the 2 hour, 30 minute, the 15 minute. To justify this move down into this fair value gap, because we may not even get the opportunity to wait until the next day. All right, AMD is one. This is where understanding a stock's personality comes into play, right? You got to know when AMD moves, it moves. Look at the size of the candles on AMD, right? Look at the size of the candles on AMD. This has a has an impulsive personality, right? When it's ready to go, it go. If I had to liken this to a zodiac, AMD would probably be like Aries or something. Hey, where the Aries at out there? Where the fire signs out there? That's what I would have to liken AMD to, because when it move, it go. When it's ready to go, it go. It ain't no baby moves. All right, ain't no baby moves over here. All right, so that's what I got y'all for for my 3 stocks that I'm watching for the week. That's the Sunday watch list on a Monday. Y'all can go ahead and submit the stocks that y'all want me to review. I'll be here for probably about another like half hour, just like knocking out anything that y'all request. But again, like I said, I got to get to the studio at 11. So, you know what I mean? I gotta switch my brain from, you know, from technical to creative. I gotta go from the left to right. All right. Let's see. You in the Valley? Okay, what part of the Valley? Encino, Woodland Hills, Studio City. Where you at? Burbank. Jade, how you feeling? Yeah, I'm telling you, that that's gonna be a banger. Again, like, look, as y'all coming in, man, just hit me with a quick like, all right? Just hit that joint one time, all right? I appreciate it. All right, Wise, he said I joined TPC last week, and that's the last. I'm telling you, listen, I want y'all to pay attention to what this person just said. Appreciate you for sharing that too, Wise 1267. He said I joined TPC about a week ago, and that was the last Discord I will ever need. Right? Y'all was right about that. All right, I appreciate you sharing that, because here's the thing. All right, and like this, it's you got people that are salespeople, and then you got real ones. And I don't even like to call myself a real one, because that is a bit of a sales pitch in a sense. But it's just like, I just want you to understand that, like, my only intention in this, and I'm sure I can speak for Isaiah the same way, is to make sure that you all get better and that you really understand how to do this. All right? Again, we don't have upsells, right? We don't have a crazy funnel system. It's like, you get in the family, you're in the family, and you get it. And we get it together, right? People that have been here long enough, like we are a year into the game, they can attest for the growth. Like, they can attest for the growth in our skill set. They can attest to the growth in the community. They can attest to their personal growth. They can attest to the growth that they've had individually, like just from the wisdom that's sprinkled throughout every piece of content that we have. If that's something that you value, it ain't a better place on the internet for you to get that combination of things, along with someone actually knowing what they're doing when it comes to this trading stuff. All right? Don't let names and numbers fool you, okay? Don't let appearances fool you. Energy doesn't lie, all right? So if this resonates with you and this feels right, just don't stand in your own way. Don't be that resistance. Oh, damn, that's a bar right there. Don't be that resistance. Goddamn. That nigga be talking sometimes, man. Adam, what's going on, man? Nah, we didn't get the Palantir yet. She said, rap something for us? Listen, man. Listen, y'all don't want me to do that. Y'all don't want me to do that right now. There we go, Jay. Good to see you too. Y'all want me to do that. Mikey Mike, what's going on, man? How you feeling? All right, let's get these out the way. I'm gonna go ahead and use this my notepad, digital notepad. Y'all know I usually like to write stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and my notepad is like in my book bag, so I'm gonna just, we're gonna go here with it. All right, so we got AVGO. All right. AVGO, we're gonna go Palantir. What else y'all got for me? He said, don't be the resist. Hey, that's a good, listen, there's so many ways to describe life just using trading terms, I'm telling you. Hey, listen, I got you, Wise. I might drop a few, I think I dropped the track one time. I dropped the track one time. I dropped the track one time in the group. I might drop another one. I got a few that I think that'll be dope for y'all. But yeah, I'm in this bag right now in my life. I'm just like I said, everything I touch turns to gold. Everything that I do just expands. Everybody that's around me also grows. And this is not a personal or arrogant, thing. It's just that I've really been consistently focusing on just the inward things that are important. And I've observed that it's just helped, right? And that's all I want to do while I'm here. So yeah. Okay, yeah, I got a little snippet. Okay, cool. Again, as y'all come and hit that like button for me. Yeah, I'll drop something in there for y'all, for all my TPC folks. All right, so we got AVGO, we got Palantir. What else y'all want to see? What else y'all want to see? How's y'all weekend been so far? Anybody do anything, exciting? What y'all got going on? Google. Okay. Yeah, we already we actually analyzed Google already. So just go back and watch this. Like the beginning of the live, you'll see my analysis on Google. You say y'all smacked NVIDIA last week. Okay, yeah, we can do NVIDIA. We can look at NVIDIA. What else y'all got for me? MU always. All right, MU. What else y'all got for me? All right. All right, so we're just gonna jump into these four real quick. EXE. All right, cool. We'll jump into these five, and if there's anything else that comes to your mind, just go ahead and type it in the chat, and we'll get to that as well. SoFi. Okay, cool. Yep. Got it. Copy. All right. Let's get into it. Again, look, as y'all come in, man, just go ahead, hit that like button for me one time. That's it. That's all I need. All right, AVGO, let's get it. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Looks like we want to come and retrace to this bullish order block here, right? We came up, had the inside candle again, the lollipop or the hammer. After an up move caused a major, downward move, and then we got the two. I wouldn't be surprised if we got like some sort of a 3-2 setup, like maybe maybe it pops up or opens up, higher. Maybe this opens bearish. I'm just giving a scenario, right? Maybe it opens, bullish, and then it flips to a 3 candle, and then closes, and then it engulfs this. Something is just telling me that is a likely scenario, right? Because what can happen is some people could be interpreting this as a possible bull flag, but the break below this mean says that it wants to come and revert to this, the other side of this Bollinger Band. So what I'm thinking we get is some sort of engulfing. If we can get an engulfing 3 candle tomorrow, I would swing that for this, the next day to be a 2 candle that takes us down into this order block, right? This is something that I do when I'm mapping out my trades, y'all. Like, I'm always looking at the charts and then anticipating what pattern could form that could cause what's looking like it's already taken form. So what would push this further down tomorrow? Yeah, 2 candle could do it. Another 2 down could do it, right? Just another 2 candle, red candle that just goes straight down could do it. But we are in a 4-day week, right? So we're starting the market on a Tuesday. A lot of times, the obvious move or what we think is going to happen, there's usually like some sort of scare. If you've noticed, when we come off of a holiday, there's usually something that goes in the opposite direction of what is what's taking form. But it's usually only initially. So if we do, like I said, open up higher tomorrow, right? We start off green and then we flip to a 3 candle, like a three bearish candle, that would engulf this the same way that this three candle. You see that? So look, this formed a reversal. It opened up high, right? It came up here, and then it turned into a three candle, which engulfed this previous candle. And look what it did the next day. It came all the way into the bottom of this order block, right? So I'm thinking that the same scenario could happen, and it could be a 3 up candle or a 3 down. But I do believe that some version of an engulfing is going to form tomorrow, coming off of the holiday. So we want to watch for that. So bullish scenario, we get that that 3 up bullish engulfing. I would just go and target this 346.50 area. If we get the bearish engulfing, I'd be targeting the top of this bullish order block, which is about 307.50. So just write those two levels down for targets: 307.50 to the downside if we can get the bearish confirmation. If we get bullish confirmation, which would just be an engulfing, again, up here to 346.50, right? That would be the target that I would take. That would put it right back at highs, right back around the Bollinger Band. There's no reason to stay in anything longer than that. All right. If you're trading it on an intraday basis, then you could obviously shorten those targets. But just from a macro perspective, 1 to 2 week trades, this is where it looks like it would come back to in a bullish situation or down here in a bearish situation. All right, so AVGO is pretty neutral right now, but we'll see how tomorrow shakes out to really determine it. All right, so let me switch back. I put watch for engulfings. Bullish and bearish. All right. Next is Palantir. Ooh. Yeah, you see that right there? Yeah. That's what Palantir looking like right now. All right, so there's a few things. Now y'all might think that this right here was signaling to the upside. That's not what I was signaling. I'm thinking downside. I'm thinking a continuation down in the 108. I was talking to Isaiah about this over the weekend. We have been getting a lot of confidence loss in this particular sector, right? Palantirs, the Nvidias, the AMD. They're threatening the downside. And we already drew this out, right? We already had the bear flag drawn out. We saw the bear flag work out. It came to the first target and is forming a reversal at the first target. Now, again, it could bounce. This could be a double bottom, right? I wouldn't be mad at that either, right? I know exactly how to play that. We get a confirmation to the upside. This is a double bottom. If we get a bullish close tomorrow, this is a double bottom, and it wants to come and fill the fair value gap. Now, the neckline can be your first target. If we get a bullish closing tomorrow, right, higher high, higher low, coming off of this failed 2D, we could go and target right there at 145.50, which is the neckline. That's the neckline of the double bottom. All right, you can hold on to this one, right? It may, again, the neckline may be a place where it hesitates for a little bit, but we got a nice little W come down, formation, up, neckline, back down, form the double bottom. But again, a double bottom is not confirmed until we get that bullish confirmation coming off of the reversal signal. All right, so if we can get, again, a higher high, higher low than we did on Friday, then we could take this up to, like I said, 140, 145.50, and then, the next target would be the completion of this gap at about 156. Okay, so that's a beautiful setup to the upside, and then there's even more fair value gaps, as it continues to go up. So it's a lot of upside opportunity. However, again, like I said, this, we could be in a situation where they're just trying to get a little bit of optimism out of the market, right? And wants to truly come down into the target that we drew from the bear flag. So this could be a hesitation. A lot of times, this is how sophisticated and brilliant the market makers are, is they will create scenarios where a reversal can look like a high probability setup and make you forget about the fact that you already had a high probability setup that just hadn't quite made it to where it needs to go. Another example of this was MRK. I don't know if y'all remember, we drew the bull flag up to like 120 something on MRK, and what happens is that it was rotating in and out of healthcare and technology for what was the bullish sentiment, right? So it had to target the 122, but it didn't just go there in a matter of days. It went there, cooled off for a few days, went up some more, cooled off for a few days, but it eventually got to that target. Now, this could be what's happening here, right? This little cool off to the downside, this little reversal could just be to get you thinking that it's about to recover and that all is good in the market, and we could fall flat on our face down to 108, which is the target that we drew off the bear flag. All right, that's still in play. All right, so you definitely want to keep that in mind. And again, another way to talk about an order block is liquidity. The market likes to find liquidity, so if there's an order block nearby, it's probably going to make its way to that order block first. When you trading without order blocks, you have no idea why the market is going in a direction that it doesn't look like it wants to go. But when you got them on, you're like, oh yeah, this is the next point of liquidity. This is the next point that Palantir could come and get people knocked out of their socks, and then take that move or that trip up here back into the 150 area and beyond. All right, so be cautious about that. Again, I think the downside is likely, but we will see. If it bounces and gets that confirmation, again, I don't care which way it goes. I'm gonna make money regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way, that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like we don't care if it goes up or down. It's not gonna hurt our feelings. Even if I thought it was gonna go down and it didn't, I'm not gonna be tripping off of being right. I just said that in my affirmation, right? We're not like bent on being right. We're bent on like doing what needs to be done and executing on what the market presents. So I can tell you all this stuff about what I believe is the likely scenario and still not do what I said, do the opposite, and catch it at the right moment, still make money. That's the beautiful part about understanding levels, price action, all of that stuff, right? So I just wanted to paint the picture so you guys are prepared this week of what could possibly shake out from that. All right, that's Palantir. Let's go NVIDIA. I love this shit, man. I really do. I love the freedom that it provides. That's the biggest thing. I love like, you know, the preparation that goes into it. It's a game, right? But it's a sophisticated game that also pulls from the things that you've done and like the things that I'm saying, like in terms of like internal work you've done, right? So when you look at your trading and how you've been performing, it's also like a reminder or a reflection of the growth that you've just had over the years. So I think about, the lack of certain emotional intelligence that I had, some years ago, the lack of, consistency or discipline that I may have had, some years ago. And then I look at when I made improvements to those things, and I look at how the trading also aligned with those improvements. So it's just a beautiful thing, man, to just observe each day. All right, NVIDIA is bouncing inside of an order block right now, which is also a fair value gap. So the fair value gap is from 178.80 up to about 182.81. I'm sorry. Yeah, 183.90. I'm sorry. So 183.90. That whole thing is a fair value gap. This fair value gap is overlapping with this order block. It looks like this had, begin to bounce a little bit off the order block. Again, y'all, I use this example all the time. You smell stuff in the kitchen before it's ready. You're going to start to smell it before it's ready, and it can still have a little bit ways to go. This is how I describe when we get these long candles and we get, a wick off of it. It doesn't always mean that it's ready to change directions. It just means that, like, okay, there were some people that took that as bait and decided that they wanted to get in a little bit early and didn't really allow the reversal formation or signal and confirmation to form. So this could continue to come down and fill this whole fair value gap, right? Matter of fact, it makes sense that it would do that since it's also an order block too, right? So it's simultaneously filling a fair value gap and scooping up liquidity. I can't think of a better scenario for market makers. All right. So I would like to see a continuation down on this. And if we can break below this intraday tomorrow, right? Like let's watch it on the 2 hour, check out that 3-2 setup that's beautiful on the strat method, and see if we can catch this to the downside intraday to about 177. All right. So this is solid. Again, the bullish scenario would be possibly some sort of harami being formed, or a piercing pattern, or some sort of reversal signal, bouncing out of this fair value gap and then deciding to go and take this fair value gap at about 187.50. All right. So there is also, again, an upside scenario. The downside just looks a little bit more likely right now. But again, we'll check in tomorrow to see. So I'm gonna write on NVIDIA. I'm gonna put watch for possible bullish harami, but likely downside continuation. And I know the levels. All right. I hope you guys did y'all write those levels down that I just mentioned? Let me flip back to you. Again, as y'all come in here, man, hit that like button for me. All right, who we got in here? What y'all talking about? He said STX been running with MU. Yeah. Now that's real, Mikey. I see you've been doing your homework. Debo, what's going on? He said Tesla, okay. XOM, okay. SNDK. All right. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm not gonna be able to get to all those. I might be able to get like 2 more to be real, because I do gotta leave, because I do want to be on time and respectful of other people's time. This is also why I'm doing my my watch list a little bit earlier today. But if you're in Prosperity Collective, I'll do a little analysis tonight on some of those. I'll write down. Matter of fact, let me write these down now. I got y'all, because we're gonna make sure we hit something crazy this week. Let me write these down to finish once I hop off my live. STX, let's see. Got Tesla, XOM. So we got SNDK. What else we got? Okay. Oh yeah, we definitely gonna do that. Pamela, how you feeling? You already know. I'm good. I appreciate you asking. I'm feeling really good. Again, I gave a little bit of a recap and spiel of my weekend, and the services and all that stuff for my dad. And I'm feeling real good. I'm feeling really just like clear and proud. All right, says question: when the order block is hit, that means it hits. Hold on. Just want to make sure I'm saying this correctly. When the order block is hit, does that mean if it says a green order block is likely to go back up, down if it's red? Yeah. So okay, I see what you're saying. So a red order block is a bearish order block, which means that there are institutions that plan to sell the stock in large numbers at that particular price point. It's also a version of liquidity, right? So liquidity is just basically fuel to get to a higher point. Liquidity is where a market goes when it wants to go to where the masses are expecting it to go, but it wants to shake them out, right? So it comes down to liquidity, it shakes out the stop losses. That's typically where liquidity is formed, right? Because when we think about Wall Street, like trading psychology, they're not trading like retailers. Wall Street trading psychology, market making trading psychology is where our stop losses. Also, this is a big reason that I also don't really use stop losses. I mean, I know my one little stop loss is not a big deal, but I do know that retail traders, a lot of times they're taught how to trade in a specific manner, and then you have to low-key go and unlearn all of that stuff like down the road. You're like, damn. I'm gonna give y'all an example, right? So this is what a stop loss is, right? And it's the perfect analogy because it literally has stopped in what I'm getting ready to talk about. So I went to I think it's like called Deep, not Deep Creek, but Park, is it Park Valley? It's like, I want to say it's like Parkside. Hey Siri, slopes in Utah. Ski slopes in Utah. All right, she's tripping. I'm gonna just go Google them. I can't remember the name of it, but this is like the perfect example. Park City. Park City is what it is, right? So we were, I was out there with some friends skiing, right? And you know, this was some years ago. It was my first time skiing, and I like to pride myself for like being able to catch on to things like rather quickly, right? Like if I read something, I hear something, you know, I see something, right? I could quickly just be like, all right, bet. Like I learned how to ride a bike on the first time. Like my dad used to love to tell that story, right? I would, you know, like my brother was, you know, I saw my brother failing at it, and I'm not failing like. I saw him like struggling to get on the bike, right? And ride the two-wheeler. And I was just observing like all the mistakes that he was making. I was just like, all right, I think I can do this. And I told my dad, I was like, Dad, like put me on the bike. And then he was just like, all right. He was like, you sure? I'm like, take them training wheels off, right? Put me on. I'm like 3 years old. And then I rode the bike, like never fell off a bike, right? So I'm like, all right, I can download this ski skill. I never skied before, but I think I can go up to, they talking about like the blue and black diamond. I'm like, I can go up there. So I'm on the little kiddie slopes and they're like, okay, when you're skiing, the way that you stop is to do this stopping method that's called the pizza, right? It's called the pizza because you put your two skis inside like this to form what looks like a slice of pizza, and that's supposed to like, you know, like kick the snow up a little bit and bring you to a stop. All right, so I did that. I was on the you know, the practice ski slopes, the little miniature ones, like very small incline, and I'm like, shit, I'm ready to go up there with the big dogs now. You know what I'm saying? Take me to the blue black diamond. You take me to the black diamond. All right, so I'm in there. I'm ready. So the friends that I was gone with, they've been skiing for years. Like, you know, this couple that actually lives out here in LA. Well, one of their places is out here in LA that they're very, very rarely at. But we were like going up on the lift, and they're like, you know, you sure you want to do this? I'm like, look, man, I done went to the little kiddie training on the kiddie hill, but again, I got that. I'm like, I can do this, right? So we going up, and I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna lie. You ever get like a little something in your stomach, a little, you know, you start getting like the bubble guts because you like, yo, I think I just bit off a little bit more than I could chew. I'm like, yo, we kind of high. This is. I start seeing like the incline of the slope. And I don't know if any of y'all been skiing before or snowboarding, but like once you get on that hill, you don't get to change your mind, right? You got to change your mind before you get on that hill. All right. So we get to the top of the hill. They let us off the lift, and we're getting ready to enter to where you walk up a little bit, and then you literally get on the hill. And the only way that you get off the hill is to go down the hill. You can't get lifted back. So we up there. We stuck. So then the guy, right, the husband of the friend couple, he's like Marcel, you're a brave man. You're a brave man. I'm like, I mean, yeah, you know. And then he's like, you went over your stopping and stuff like that already, right? I was like, yeah, you just do the little pizza stop. You did a little pizza stop. You put your skis in like this. This dude started laughing so hard. He said, I don't know why they keep teaching people that, because it's low-key a recipe to kill yourself, especially on these bigger hills like the Blue and Black Diamond, because the pizza slope only works, the pizza stop only works on very slight hills. This is when you're stopping when you don't have a lot of speed. Yeah, you can do the pizza when you don't have a lot of speed. When you're coming down a Blue and Black Diamond, you are going very fast. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna see if you can download this really quickly. But he's like, I'm gonna show you how to actually really stop on the hill, because that's not gonna work. He's like, you're gonna flip, you might, you might really hurt yourself. So now those bubble guts, I'm talking about the bubble guts is on. I might have pooped on myself. I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm really nervous because I'm like, shit. Like, I gotta go down here, but like, I'm not even that confident in my ability to stop. So he showed me, and mind you, we're on a flat surface, and he's trying to show me how to stop. So this is all low-key theory that I gotta go down this big hill with. So I go down the, he showed me a couple times just like with a motion of his leg, and basically you have to like bring them to, and matter of fact, as I'm doing this, it low-key looks like a bear flag or a bull flag, but it's two diagonal parallel lines, right? So you want to take your skis and go parallel with them diagonally. That's going to kick the snow up and give you a spot to stop in right there, right? You could stop on the dime. So I couldn't really practice it, but I was just like, all right, bet. When it's time for me to stop, I'll do it. So I was like, all right, I'm nervous. I'm like, you know what? Whenever I get nervous, you know what I say? I be like, fuck it. That's how I get over anything. I just be like, fuck it. If I'm ever scared, if it's ever something that seems like it's too, just fuck it, and I just go. So I was just like, yo, I'm either gonna make it out of this bitch alive and well and with a great story, or it's gonna get ugly. So I go, right? And I'm killing them. Like I start, you start finding your little groove when you skiing, you know what I'm saying? Like I got the the sticks like tucked between my arms, and I'm flowing. And luckily, there's nobody really on the hill for me to have to even stop. So I'm cool. I'm like, all right, well, I still got this whole hill to to determine how I'm gonna stop when I get to the end. And even if I didn't, even if it was only like the end that I had to stop at, I'm like, at least like it's a big flat place for me to like finally stop. But then this random dude come doing the same thing I'm doing. He feeling himself too. But he weaving in and off the hill, and he like cutting in front of me and all this. And then the last time like he cut in front of me, he fell and started tumbling, right? And he twisted me around. Luckily that twist, like I still landed on my feet and was still going fast, but now he's in my path and like I have to stop. So I don't know how I did it, but I kicked it into gear. I was closed my eyes and just like turned both of my legs at the same time, kicked the snow up, stopped on the dime, man. Stopped on the dime. I was like, okay, this is how it, how it goes. I only needed that one experience for it to be nothing. It's downloaded. I got it, right? Went to the bottom of the hill, finished it, never touched the snow at all, still clean in my, in my ski suit. And I was low-key feeling myself. I'm not gonna lie. But I say all that to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, the stop losses, right? They're put there as a means to, like, for you to like set yourself up essentially. So the same way that pizza stop set me up for failure, that's what stop losses in your initial training are meant to do. So I don't know who comes up with the text for this and be like, yeah, you got to have a stop loss. But you'll notice as you climb higher in trading, a lot of people don't be like, yeah, keep a stop loss. It's like, nah, that's feeding the opposition information, right? They got intel on exactly where you are, and they're able to create that liquidity. So that was a story just to kind of like drive home the message so that I can understand like what's really taking place. And you got to understand how you got to just like, you got to start thinking like the creators, right? You got to start thinking about the people who are almost rigging the system for them to make money. All right? Tanver, how you feeling? I appreciate it. Good to see you back. I mean, thank you for being happy to see me back. Delta Johnny, how you feeling? It said NVIDIA earnings next week. Okay. Yeah. I'm reading super old messages, y'all. It's beautiful to see told Isaiah and Motion watching these charts and getting to know the point where you exactly you're looking. Yeah, no, it's definitely a beautiful thing. Yeah, Palantir could be puts tomorrow. It just depends on how it shakes out. Nawan, how you feeling? He said, imagine the big institution banks compared to us regular traders. Chance of being a bro, no wonder people quit. I'm telling you, there's so many different things, Johnny, that definitely are just put there for landmines. So again, like I said, if y'all came across this video in this group, man, just like I said, it ain't from an arrogant place, but consider yourself blessed because you got two people that's really trying to I feel like we like the anti-industry guys. You know what I mean? Like every industry has like an independent version of an artist that's trying to keep things solid instead of just going with the flow of manipulation that most industries have, right? Liz, how you feeling? I'm feeling good. Yeah. He said, yeah, no, facts, Johnny. Definitely bit off more than I could chew going up that hill, man. But we landed it though. Exactly, Wise. Yeah, you gotta cut the ice. Listen, I'm trying to tell you, I think I was on a blue diamond. But listen, the blue diamond in Park City is serious. I don't know if any of y'all ever been. It's serious. So I went straight there. I'm talking about being in training in the little kiddie joint for maybe 30 minutes or something like that. And went straight up because they was doing a round of the blue diamond. And I was just like, you got to do it. So you got to be able to quickly adjust and know when something is being taught to set you up. This is where discernment comes in, y'all. This trading stuff is way deeper than you think because you think it's almost like school, right? How many things have you actually implemented from school into your real life? Wait. Not many. It's because school itself was a major distraction, right? Yeah, there's some things that you need to know. There's some basic understandings of things that you need to to know to give yourself a chance to make money in certain disciplines. But for the most part, a lot of school was manipulation, distraction, indoctrination, right? It was all of these things to kind of predict your future and not liberate you, right? So you got to be able to have that discernment to know that even when you learning something, it's some cap in there somewhere. Anytime you believe half of what you read and see, right? It's always a little bit of cap in most things. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z said it best. You know what I'm saying? He's actually believe half of what you see, none of what you heard, even if it's spat by me. You gotta go do your own research is what he's saying. You gotta really be able to understand that sometimes there's some funny business and stuff. All right? Nah, for sure, Jamie. You said it's your first week, you're not getting. Listen, look, Kayvon, is it Kayvon or Savon or Kayvon? I'm not sure how to say that, but it's gonna kick in. I promise you. Everybody that is new to this trading business, I'm telling you, look, y'all gonna be straight. I promise you. All right, but what you do have to do is you do have to be consistent. You do have to work on yourself internally, right? That's the biggest thing. A lot of people undermine what they call the soft skills, right? But it's those things that drive our decisions, right? Where's our mind at? Where's our heart at? It's not outside of us, it's inside of us. So when you work on yourself internally, you're then able to make better decisions, right? You're able to align with, better momentum. Sometimes, I feel sometimes it feels like my life feels lucky, right? I feel like I get lucky all the time. And it comes from just preparation and discernment. So you're going to get it. Just stay at it. Stay close to, to everything that's going on in the community and on YouTube. And you solid. You'll be good for sure. Exactly, Marquin. There's so many things that I've had to learn as an adult that that was just put on me growing up. And look, this is the crazy part. You know, your parents, a lot of them didn't know better, and they were feeding you to a bunch of systems that were just leading you to a path of like, you know, hopelessness and fear. There was nothing that cultivated bravery and courage in the traditional school structure. This is why people that have, you know, parents in their lives that, you know, that give something to them, some sort of like value or principles, typically have a better way, even if they are in a, you know, a bad financial circumstance or whatever. You can see that across statistics, that is usually you're getting something from them, right? But imagine an enlightened parent, right? Imagine if some of our parents were a little bit more enlightened and were able to instill that in us. I know a few people that had parents like that. And they, you know, they were saying stuff, you know, like light years before it started to come to the surface. So, but yeah, that's all I got. I could be on here forever talking to y'all, man. Like, it's always love over here. I love y'all. I want to see y'all win. I'm not going to be able to, you know, to get to the, you know, the rest of the stocks, you know, STX, MU, EXE, SoFi, XOM, SNDK, but I will, you know, do some sort of recap and put it in the group so that y'all can see that. And again, we'll be right on it tomorrow, you know, during the market to make sure that we can catch possible swing opportunities. But again, man, it's always love over here. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, all the love that y'all consistently send on a regular basis. It's felt. It means a lot. It doesn't go unnoticed. And yeah, man, let's go into this week with a new energy. If you haven't listened to that meditation/affirmation that I created and put inside of the group, do yourself a favor and go listen to it. And not just listen to it once, but really sit with it every morning before you start trading. Remind yourself of these important things, right? Remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself that you are not attached to outcomes. Right? Remind yourself that it's the execution that matters. All right? I'm about to get up out of here, man. It was good to see y'all. Good talking to y'all, you know, exchanging energy. Remember, invest smart, live free. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.